good morning to you watching the Channel M Breakfast Show on Friday the 15th of May, and we've got two very special birthdays to announce this morning. First up is Katy Mann. She's 38 today, and I believe we've got a picture of her there. She's obviously not 38 there. There you go, little cutie pie there. Have a wonderful day, Katy. Thank you for watching the Breakfast Show. And also we've got another birthday as well to give a mention to. It's Helen Selby, soon to be Mrs Mulryan. There she is there. She's very old today. So happy birthday to you, and again, thanks for watching the Breakfast Show.
And I'd like to say a very good morning to all the loyal viewers that watch us every morning, whether it be at home, whether it be at work, whether it be in the gym, sort of right across Greater Manchester and beyond. We salute you and thank you, especially to Ginny Topping this morning. I know she's an ardent fan who loves to watch at 8:30 because she knows we've got the brekkie tipster in. In a few minutes, get all the latest news and sport, plus our guide to what's hot on the Manchester music scene this weekend. But first, as I mentioned, here he is. It's the mighty Mark Pearson.
Good morning. What a build-up. How you doing?
Right.
What are you doing 8 o'clock tomorrow night?
Are you going to say Eurovision, aren't you?
Right, come round to my place. I'll get some European beers and wines. Don't worry, on expenses. I'll put a nice buffet on as well, and we'll sit down and watch for Eurovision. It's the 54th Eurovision from Moscow. 25 countries now left. It was a second semi-final last night. Now, I've narrowed it down to you for 5 countries. I was watching all 25 last night on my laptop, and I've narrowed it down for 5 countries for you. OK. Now, the favourite, we've got an odds-on favourite, Norway, 10 to 11. He's called Alexander Rybak. His song is called Fairy Tale. He plays a violin, and it'll be no fiddle if he wins.
Hey!
However...
Is he the favourite?
He is, 10 to 11.
No way.
Very good, very good, very good.
You two, get
now,
out of here.
the song's memorable and entertaining, but a lot of the Nordic songs are very good this year. So I think the Nordic and Scandinavian vote will get split, so you can forget your favourite. I tell you what I like, Turkey at 12 to 1, Hadis. Now, to be honest, she's sauce as well, so I think she'll get some votes. Her song is called Dum Tek Tek, which means you make my heart a-flutter. And you make my heart a-flutter every morning, Nikki, when I see you on the Breakfast Show.
As do you, Dum Tek Tek.
Thank you, thank you. So Hadis is very good at 12 to 1. Now, the UK have got a chance, 16 to 1. Jade, it's at my time. Andrew Lloyd Webber's obviously involved. Bit too slow to win. However, I know you can get 6 to 4 for... UK to finish in the top 8, and I think that is a guaranteed vote this weekend. Really? A guaranteed bet, yeah. I think the UK will do very well, but not win it. Now, it's a bit too slow as well, because Eurovision do like their sort of more Euro pop upbeat songs, don't they? That's why Iceland, they've got the best ballad, Is It You by Johanna at 33 to 1. But I don't think a ballad will win the Eurovision. Now, if you want an outside bet, Germany are a big price at 66 to 1 with Miss Kiss Kiss Bang. Now, it's a not bad song, but what's going to be very interesting about Germany is there's a rumour that a burlesque stripper is coming on during the show.
Ooh, really? That might get the vote then, Mark, you're right.
Possibly, possibly. And obviously the voting's different this year from the first time. It's half the judges and half the public vote. Ooh. So that's why they're thinking the UK could do
half
better.
The audience now Terry Wogan's gone.
I think Norway are going to go... 4 to 1 at Terry Wogan's back next year, by the way. Yep. I think Norway will get beat. They're odds on, which is very short for Eurovision. So my tip is Turkey at 12 to 1. See you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, round my place.
Love it. Sounds good to me. Now, one story that's gotten Byron's knickers in a knot this week is Katy and Peter. Of course, they split.
Well...
Or did they?
Yeah, or did they? Is it a publicity stunt, Mr Pearson?
I don't think it's a publicity stunt, but evens now from to get back together. Evens to get back together. We've seen a bit of money, so they're going to be evens to get back together. Now, what's the most interesting for me is that they ask for privacy. So, if you want privacy, you put your skimpiest white bikini on, don't you? And you have breakfast on the balcony with the kids, and you invite 3 or 4 photographers, don't you? That's privacy. Now, for the sake of the kids and the documentaries on ITV2, I hope Katy and Peter get back together.
You do?
You do?
Well, what have ITV2 going to put on if they don't get back together?
This is very true. Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody watch it?
Now, I've got a better bet for you. What about 4 to 1 that they get re-blessed and they sign an exclusive deal with a glossy magazine?
Cynics are out already, aren't they? Yeah. OK, Britain's Got Talent. Everybody's glued to that the weekend as well. What are you offering on that?
We're the biggest price at Betfred for Susan Boyle, the hairy angel. 10 to 11 she is. Now, however, she is losing supporters. And I think Sean Smith, he was on last week, wasn't he? The 17-year-old rugby player who sang Ain't No Sunshine. He's a big price, 8 to 1. And I just think he could get a few of the viewers' votes. So I would take on Susan Boyle.
Would you?
Yeah. I think the country are getting a bit bored, to be honest.
Right. Mark, just ever so quickly, we're pretty much out of time, but United to win the title at this weekend against Arsenal. What are the odds?
Oh, to win the title now, it's like 250 to 1 on, so you've got to put on £250 to win £1. Their odds on to beat Arsenal 4 to 7. Arsenal are 9 to 2. United will win the title this weekend, and Usain Bolt will win that 150-metre race. He's 20 to 1 on. Marlon Devonish 20 to 1.
You haven't seen me training yet, mate. Well, that may all change. Thank you very much for joining us on The Breakfast Show. Thank you very much for all your contributions. You have been a shining light in sometimes a dark and miserable world.
Yes, you have.
Thank you very much.
How profound. Anyway, let's move on now. It's time for the latest news with James.
Good morning. These are the top stories this Friday. A fundraiser whose coast-to-coast charity walk while terminally ill raised £80,000 for the Christie has died. 23-year-old Tom Buckley had already been told by doctors there was nothing more they could do to treat his brain tumour. Tributes have been paid to him, describing him as a pure inspiration.
I think in newspapers we often overuse words like hero, courageous, bravery. Those words absolutely summed up Tom Buckley. He was a true hero. For somebody with the illness that he had to do what he did, to get behind the Christie campaign. And the fact is that everybody who met him, from members of the public to journalists who went out to talk to him on a daily basis, came back with the same point of view. What a genuine, good person he was. And I think that summed up Tom Buckley, and the fact that he is no longer with us is a sad day.
The mum of Sir Alex Ferguson's grandson says she's going to start her own road safety campaign. It's after her 10-year-old boy Charlie was hurt in a head-on smash that left him in hospital. Nadine Ferguson says she wants more parents to realise how important it is for youngsters to use their seatbelts. She's also revealed how her son's had a surprise visit from his hero, Wayne Rooney, while he's been recovering. A fresh appeal for help in catching the killer of murdered schoolboy Jesse James is being made. The 15-year-old was shot dead in Moss Side's Broadfield Park back in 2006. The new push for information comes on what would have been his 18th birthday. Police who are investigating say they're sure information about what happened is in the community and they want people who know anything to come forward. Justice Minister Shahid Malik is the latest MP to be accused of abusing the expenses system. He claimed more money than anyone else 2 years ago, and it's reported he reached the limit of the £66,000 he's allowed to get back over 3 years for his second home in London. He's denying newspaper headlines that he paid only £100 a week rent on his main home in his Dewsbury constituency. Claire Short is also named for claiming £8,000 too much on her second home. It's claimed troops in Afghanistan have been left on the front line with equipment that's almost obsolete. A committee of MPs has heard how delays in defence projects are partly to blame, with different ones going behind schedule, adding up to a total of 40 years of hold-ups. A firefighter who suffered 50% burns trying to save a family from Bolton says he was only doing what any firefighter would have done. Stephen Morris has been speaking out for the first time about his ordeal and recovery a year after the blaze which claimed the lives of 71-year-old Hamida Begum and her 4-year-old granddaughter Alana Mian. The emergency worker was one of the first on the scene.
The fire was so bright that it even lit the smoke up around me, and my arms were well alight and well on fire. So that's when I realised, apart from the intense heat, that I was actually on fire myself.
In June of last year, Steve Morris was called to a house fire here on Little Home Walk in Bolton. Somebody had deliberately set fire to a wheelie bin, which in turn set the house alight, trapping inside 4 members of the same family. Now, Steve rushed in to try to save them, but there was a massive gas explosion, turning him into what his colleagues described as a human fireball.
Once you get first-degree burns, it burns away the sensitivity in your skin. At that point, I didn't know how much damage I was actually doing to my body.
In fact, Steve's burns were so bad that his colleagues didn't recognise him.
They just thought, well, crikey, we've got another member of the public, and then they saw my face and realised, oh my God, it's one of us.
Steve suffered 50% burns. He lost parts of his fingers and thumbs and spent 9 months in hospital undergoing 12 lots of surgery. But he's made incredible progress and is looking forward to the results of his next operation.
A future operation which involves using one of my toes, one of my big toes, to extend this thumb to a certain point, which will give me a nail. You miss your nails, especially when you're scratching.
Steve says 6 months ago he never imagined he could have come this far, and thanks his friends and family for going to great lengths to raise money for the firefighters charity. Donate to them if you like, but just don't call him a hero.
I don't think that my actions on the evening were any more heroic than the other wearers who went into that house. They also are heroes, as is every firefighter in the country.
Nina Warhurst, Channel M News.
The first road closures will be put in place tonight, ready for Sunday's Great Manchester Run. Part of Deansgate near the John Ryland Library will be closed from 7 p.m, ready for a temporary running track to be built. Some other streets will be cordoned off tomorrow. More than 33,000 runners will be taking part in the event, which will feature a guest appearance from the triple Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt. That's it from me. Don't forget you can join me at 12 noon for the Channel M Lunchtime News. And Andy Crane's here every night from 5 with all the day's top stories. Let's check the sport now with Byron and Mike.
As Wimbledon is just around the corner, tennis fans are getting giddy as kippers because Andy Murray is on his winning ways and he just keeps blasting those balls across the court.
Spain's Tommy Robredo is the latest man to fall victim to the curse of the Murray. 7-5, 6-1 in the Madrid Masters. He's now through to the quarter-final. And the quarter-final, obviously, 8 players will feature the top 4 seeds in the world. So for Andy Murray, 22 years of age, probably one of the greatest wins of his career. Robredo, a 3 times French Masters semi-finalist. So that just shows the pedigree of the calibre of the people that Murray's beating at the moment, and we've said it all year and we'll keep on saying it, Murray to win Wimbledon this year.
Come on, Murray. Right, so from the court to the canvas, and Carl Froch could be back in action relatively soon.
A bit of a heads up on this one. The story's only just breaking this morning. Lucian Boot is the man who's going to get into the ring with our Carl. He's, when I told you this morning, a lot of people said Lucian who? 24 fights, 24 wins, 19 by way of knockout. He's a Canadian IBF champion. That fight will take place in Montreal. Many people expecting Froch to be able to entice Joe the Coward Calzaghe out of retirement. That's not happened.
Unfair.
Because...
Unfair.
He's less than a coward. That's not happened because... That's not happened because Carl Froch obviously would send Calzaghe packing into the hills. But we did say after he won his title it would be very tough to keep hold of. And I think Lucian Boot is a real tough character. And to go over to Montreal and to fight in front of 20,000 people will be a tough ask for Carl Froch. But for Carl Froch, I doff my cap because you have never ducked an opponent.
I agree. Totally. Hats off as well, especially after that last fight with Jermaine Taylor, one of the most exciting ends to a boxing bout I think I've ever seen, especially involving a British fighter. But let's turn our scrapping attentions a little bit closer to home because Steve Foster Jr. Is coming back. Has he gone? Is he back? What's going on?
All of the above. Right. He's fighting Ricky Burns for the super featherweight title in Glasgow in June. As we said, he's a former WBO world title challenger. He's never quite enjoyed the success that his dad did, and we both saw his dad fight. It's about time Stevie Jr. steps up to the plate. This could be the one. If he loses against Ricky Burns, and Ricky Burns put Michael Gomez into retirement 2 months ago, I don't think he'll do the same against Steve Foster. It's a tough fight. It's as tough for him as it is for Carl Froch to go over there. It's tough to win up in Scotland, but I think Steve Foster Jr., it's about time he stepped up to the plate. This time, it is the beginning of big things for him.
Right, so off the canvas and onto the crease. There's been an ill wind blowing through the Windies team. Is it now gale force or is it kind of diminished somewhat?
It's gale force 10 at the moment. The West Indies are falling apart even as we speak. Let's take a quick look at the scorecard from day 1 of 5, the Empower Test Match Series. England yesterday, incredible batting performance. 3-0-2 for 2 after 90 overs. Alistair Cook resumes at the crease this morning on 1-2-6 not out. Ravi Bopara is celebrating having reached 108, only the 5th English batsman to make 3 successive Test centuries, and he joins such incredible names like Sutcliffe, Dennis Compton, Geoffrey Boycott and Graham Boots. So West Indies cricket in complete disarray, and I, for one, am dancing in the street at that news.
To be fair, I mean, without obviously pouring scorn on or being particularly detrimental to another team, but yeah, get in England. It's about time we started winning something.
Against the old foe West Indies, superb. And it bodes well for the Ashes as well, which we're going to win 5-0.
OK, out of the crease and into the press conference held by Mark Hughes.
I like your style.
Thank
Mark
you.
Hughes has just re-signed Steve Ireland, and as you can imagine, he's quite pleased.
I think we're very close. Had good discussions with Stephen last week, and I think there's intent on both sides. We obviously want Stephen to be here for a considerable length of time, and I think Stephen himself has come out in recent days saying that he wants to spend most of his career here, which was obviously very heartening from our point of view. So yeah, I mean, there's intent on both sides, so I would imagine as long as there's no hiccups along the way, which I don't anticipate there will be, then yeah, they will get done very quickly.
And another manager we've been out speaking to is Bolton's Gary Meggs, and here's the latest team news from the Wanderers game against Hull.
Danny Sitchell, he should be available. He came into training last week, but he didn't do enough, so he wasn't involved, but he should be okay this week. Mark Davis has trained fully for the week, so he comes into contention. On the other side of it, you're aware Bibby Gardner's out. He was out a few weeks ago for the rest of the season, and Joey O'Brien. So.
Well, that's it for the Channel M Breakfast Sport. Time now for a break. Coming next, our guide to the weekend's hot tickets in our gig guide with Jukebox Jude. You'd be absolutely stark raving bonkers to go anywhere else. See y'all soon.